So we've talked recently about the Xbox One version for Halo Infinite, if Microsoft should be leaving it behind. It's come up a couple of times, like when they first showed the game, and then even before that, when Microsoft talked cross-gen with like 2 years of support apparently into the Series X and S life. And then it came up again with Cyberpunk and how poor that game was running on the Xbox One. Still doesn't run great, but there has been a patch that at least increased it to like 20 frames per second. You're not going to have a lot of fun if you're playing Halo Infinite at 20 frames per second on the base Xbox One. However, now something's been pointing out that could be leaning towards the Xbox One version of Halo Infinite actually being canceled. And I figure we would take a look at that here today because a lot of you were sending me messages about it. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. Let's go over here to Gaming Bolt, as they have it clipped from LinkedIn. That's right, we are going to LinkedIn for this one with Chad Mershak here for the UI art lead, so for user interface, Halo Infinite, and senior design manager transmedia. Now, this is at 343, as you would expect, the big studio behind Halo Infinite, and a lot of controversy with people leaving and coming in and all this stuff. It's been all over the place over the last year or so now. But they are the UI art lead for Halo Infinite, full-time. This is in Seattle. And games in development, Halo Infinite for the Xbox S, that'd be the Xbox Series S, the Xbox Series X, and PC, to be determined 2021. Interestingly enough, they are missing the Xbox One from that description. Now, if we go down to the summary, ship all UI for Halo Infinite, which includes finalizing art direction and realization beats internally and across multiple co-devs, revisiting workflow efficiencies, providing team mentorship, and working with game design and UX to ensure a cohesive AAA experience. Basically, it sounds like they are in charge across the board for UI and shipping it and making sure Halo Infinite is ready to go with its user interface, which tells me that they would probably have a hand in all the different versions of the game, and that's what a lot of people are looking at here, thinking, wait a minute, they would be listing the Xbox One version if they're working on that, right? I mean, yeah, you would think, and if you look at this, Halo Infinite, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, PC, nothing about the Xbox One. So this certainly looks like they are missing the Xbox One version because it's been canceled, but I do at least want to bring up something else because I don't think this is like people are seeing this as like definitive, like, oh, okay, the Xbox One version, it's out the door. The only thing I really think of here is because 343 is so big and this game is such a massive undertaking. Remember, they made an entire new engine, the Slipspace engine, all this. I feel like it's such a large project that they have probably sectioned off several parts of 343, many departments, outsourcing, that there's a chance that they have teams dedicated just to the next-gen version of Halo Infinite, which could include the user interface itself. Although, as I say that, we just saw the summary that says ship all UI for Halo Infinite. So it's tough when it comes to that, unless Microsoft really did move the Xbox One version out of 343 and they're like, look, you guys just need to work on the next gen version because that is the version we want to focus on at the end of 2021, especially now that it's been pushed a year, and we'll have another studio focus heavily on the Xbox One version just to make sure it works. They could be outsourcing it outside of Microsoft. They could be having another studio come in internally and work on it. We heard the Coalition did quite a bit at times for Halo Infinite, trying to get it out the door. Coalition's very talented and they're very good at this kind of stuff, so running support might be something they're even doing for the Xbox One version, and it's not necessary for them to list it here because they're really not focusing much on it. And I could see Microsoft being a bit concerned about announcing that the Xbox One version is canceled like now because they're still working through the holidays. It's not easy to find a Series S or a Series X still, and it sounds like their overall product line won't kind of stabilize and be readily available in stores until next April, they've mentioned. So I don't think there's any point in announcing anything like this until after that. So like May or June. Let's say the game's coming out in October. They probably won't want to tell people that it's a next-gen only game, technically, with the Xbox One version being left behind until like June or July. And you know what? At this point, I think I am okay with the Xbox One kind of being left behind. Look, it's had a good run. I am concerned about how the game would function on that system, especially with what we've been seeing lately with different games that are clearly being pushed hard on next generation platforms and how well they can actually scale down to a system like the Xbox One with its mechanical hard drive, GPU, its CPU, all these different things. It's just, to me, by next year, end of 2021, a lot of people will either be looking to pick up something like even a Series S at $300, or will have already upgraded to the next Xbox, because even like moving everything over is very, very easy. There's not much headache at all there. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below. Maybe you do want the Xbox One version to stick around because that's the one you plan on getting next year. Maybe you invested in the Xbox One X in 2017 and you want to try to get a little more out of it, or you're planning on upgrading this year coming up and you don't mind the Xbox One version kind of being left behind. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.